Yeah, it's the Almanac, a rap show. I got opinions and they all factual. No news, just information that you won't be able to use unless you're at a dinner party trying to impress who's in attendance with endless tidbits of nonsense. We're gonna have a good time, I promise. YouTube rabbit holes, Reddit deep dives, pulling out old interviews from the archives. Styles, fads, trends, all of that. It's the Almanac of Rap.
Today's show is coming to you live from OKP Studios, and our guest is Mavi. He wasn't able to make it in to do the interview live, so we had to hop on a Zoom call to talk about his new album, OGs with New Artist Energy, and I also got a word of advice from him. Now, if you've never seen Mavi in an interview setting, he seems like a really fun person to talk to, so I was excited to have the conversation, and he did not disappoint. Check out this first clip.
He the first black graduate of Clemson University, and he was the first black mayor of Charlotte.
Oh,
but
wow.
He's an architect, and so there's this super important black neighborhood in the city that he basically architected everything in there over there. So like right now it's like, this is my first crib, but I'm just waiting until I can refinance, leverage up, and get me that Harvey B. Gantt house. Them shits are so beautiful.
What Harvey B. Gantt? Now I got to write that down so I can check it out because I like architecture a little bit too.
Yeah, he does mid-century modern style, and a lot of Charlotte was growing when that style was like getting turned up. So we got a lot of those like interesting split level, yeah, we got a lot of that here.
Yeah, Charlotte is a beautiful city, man. Like, I what's the neighborhood with the Harvey B. Gantt houses? Well, that
Hyde Park.
Hyde Park.
Yeah,
man, cities have Hyde Parks. That's something to.
Yeah, most of them is a black neighborhood.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. I never thought about.
Who is Hyde, and why do we need to hide at the park?
Yeah, why are they hiding the niggas in the park? Is that what that shit was?
That's what Underground Railroad stop was just all Hyde Park.
He's about to go on the road to tour his latest release, Shadowbox. It's a phenomenal album that deals with the concept of a shadow self. So I had to ask him to explain the album's concept and how it came to be. And what made you decide to explore the concept of a shadow self for this album?
Just because like I felt like I was just living in the shadows. Like one of my homeboys told me, one of my other rapper homies, because I'm like, even through me making pretty dark music, I'm like perceived as like a force for good in hip hop, which like I don't know how, but it must be like people reading my actual spirit, because I be feeling like my music is like the saddest version.
Dude,
but
wait, go ahead. But I'll remember my point. Go ahead.
But he told me like, bro, just get fully treacherous on this album, like be a villain. And I'm like, no, I can't really be no villain. But then how I was living and what I was allowing myself to become drugged me further and further into darkness, to the point where like it wasn't fun anymore, and I couldn't ignore it anymore, and I needed to talk about it in my music,
Yeah, because even in doing research for this interview, like trying to see like how you are in interviews and how you respond to questions, and like just watching stuff and like kind of absorbing media you've been a part of, like your energy is always just bright. Like and like even when you could tell you deal with heavy stuff in your music, and when you bring that into the room, you bring it with a level of articulation and understanding, and also compassion for yourself and the thing you're going through. That it's kind of like you're almost like a fully transparent person in some ways.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
I won't say transparent because I'm assuming there are probably some things that you're like I'm gonna partition this off and leave this in the room till I get home.
Not really, unless it's like statute of limitation shit or my family. But continue.
No, but like a lot of people, like for some people vulnerability is hard, and for some people transparency is hard. I think that you deal with vulnerability in a way on a record that's hard for most people, but you also in life walk with this transparency that I find really intriguing and fascinating.
Yeah, because I think like a black life lived to its fullest is a stronger allegory than I could write, or that like I could fucking fabricate, or that I could like imagine. Like I think like if I live my life as a black person, like and fulfill my destiny, that is a revolutionary message to Earth. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't need to tell any lies with that message. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's an odyssey. You know what I'm saying? It's like the story of a man's life being able to represent far more than anybody's singular life can. And I think telling the truth allows that message to get out the most efficiently and the most impactful.
In doing my research, I saw that he took a more musical approach to creating this album by using more live musicians than samples. So, I had to ask him about that too.
And I think I saw somewhere you said you prioritized musicians over sampling in this album, on this album.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
What was what brought you to that decision? Like, why did you
Um,
choose to?
it's a few things. One of it is like trying to raise the, like rigor.
Who? Oh,
Like
Rick?
rigor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I wanted to make something that was musically rigorous, like that had merit. Like like the term like literary merit. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to have something that had musical merit. Like if I didn't rap on it, and then rap on that,
Yeah.
and then
Like
also finances, I guess. But
the
that's really it.
finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's expensive to sample.
It's expensive to sample, to clear samples. I've made a lot of music and didn't clear samples, and you can only take it so far. There's a ceiling on unclear samples. There's a hard.
Man, and God forbid they hit me over the head. Bro, January this year, I had to pay 20 racks. Like they get run meters in like 2 days or just everything getting took down. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah,
Spank me.
like
But
I heard Common was in an interview recently because he did an album with Pete Rock. He's touring, they doing a press run. And one of the clips that I saw, he said that the Bob uh, not Bob James. Who's the sample for the light? Who's that? It's not Bob James. It's
oh, that's Bobby Caldwell.
Bobby Caldwell. So he said Bobby Caldwell took all the publishing from that joint. Like he
Hell
has no
yeah.
and he was like, they were like, "Do you regret putting an album?" He was like, "Hell no, that's fucking it's a smash. It's like my calling card." But a lot of people
Well,
told me,
that's how that I feel the same way, but I don't got enough money to like
yeah,
not make no money off a song yet that I spend a lot of money to make it. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
especially as like you're independent and you don't have like you're the
Yeah,
bank, you're the
literally. Yeah, playing with house money. And it's like also like the fucked up part too about sampling is like boom, let's say like the light, right? That's Dilla, right?
yeah,
Okay. So let's say I'm Common and you're Dilla. Let's say you make me the beat. And like let's say we not Common and Dilla, like they don't have that relationship, but you prominent rapper, prominent producer. I could pay you your producer fee of like let's say $5,000 for the beat. And then it comes out that, oh, I had to pay Bobby Caldwell $100,000. It ain't like me and you finna go half on paying Bobby Caldwell. You get your $5,000 and you walk the hell away. And I gotta settle with this man. So it'd be crazy for me as the artist too, because it's like, damn, like
yeah.
I split the profits with these niggas, but I definitely don't split the costs. You know what I'm saying?
I also wanted to get some insight into how he feels about being a newer artist at a time when so many of our OGs are out there with new artist energy and very active in the field.
Yeah, you don't split the cost. You wear too many hats. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
hell of a game to play. But and speaking about some of the OGs like Common and Dilla, one thing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing now is something like in my mind there are a lot of like kind of older artists, OGs, legacy artists with this new artist energy. Like we talked, you said you met Rakim earlier. He just put out an album and produced the whole thing. Like so
Right.
he did the scratches. LL just put out an album with Q. He's putting out an album with Q-Tip. He's doing the press
Yeah.
circuit. Missy's on her first headlining tour. Like it's like these all of our giants and our icons are still active in the field. And I wanted to get a read on you about how it feels to be like a newer, younger artist at a time where like Eminem was putting out albums. And like you're in the algorithms are like putting y'all songs in front of people at the same time. It's gotta be fucking crazy to feel it, to be in that.
Yeah, it's beautiful because like like my entry into the genre as a contributor was an entry into a mature genre,
Yeah.
but it's also still a super young genre. Like it's like my dad. Like my dad's 50, and like that's not an old age. My dad was born the same year as hip hop, so it's like boom. My dad is old enough. My dad is old enough to have a 24-year-old son,
Yeah.
but he's not an old man. You know what I'm saying? He's old
Yeah.
enough to have like a 17-year-old son, where it's like where these different generations of contribution, hip hop is able to like nurture all of these things while still like being alive and well and being able to run a mile and shit. So that I think that's really cool. And also like you got to think, hip hop is so young that literally every one of our legends that passed, they're all tragedies.
Yep.
Like we nobody in hip hop is old enough yet to just like die of old age. You know, it's just kind of crazy to think about.
Yo, that
So
is, yeah, that's a wild perspective. But man, I didn't mean to cut you off. Blew my mind a little
no,
bit.
literally, bro. So yeah, I think I mean, shit. Before us, what was it, jazz or punk? You know.
I think,
So
yeah, yep, punk and hip
mm,
hop kind of was like side by side growing up. You
mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? They're like they're cousins who hang out with each other occasionally when Jay-Z and um Jay-Z puts out a rap rock album, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Through my research, I also discovered that his dad is a huge part of the reason why he does what he does. So I had to ask if his dad has any input into his creative process.
You know, you talk about your family a lot, but your dad specifically is a
Yeah,
guy. He's a music producer. He kind of birthed you into hip hop and birthed you into
yeah.
the game. Like, does he ever give input into your music? Like, do you play stuff for him, or is he like,
Hell no.
no? I was wondering. Like, I wonder, does he like does dad come to the studio sessions, or does he do you play stuff for
No.
you?
Bro, you think my dad wouldn't do shit? Bro. My dad, I love my daddy so much, bro. Um, First, I was scared to even tell my family that I was rapping when I first started because my music is so personal and involved them in teenagerhood and father son teenage rivalry shit like that. But
Yeah,
I was talking to him recently about it, and I was like, are you proud of me for doing this in the thing that you were doing as well? And he looked at me and he said, nah, not really. Like, I would have been equally proud of you as a manager at Wendy's. And I was like, dang. And I'm like, but it gotta be cool for you to. And he like, not really. Like, I'm glad you're doing good. And he's like, but what I will say is, he said, what I will say is, as I'm a hater, and like, I would not just listen to your music because you my son, and your music make it into my playlist. And I'm like, oh, that's such a glowing endorsement. that
that's beautiful.
that
Yeah, yeah.
that's actually better than if he was just like a fucking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, cut hella on some Mr. Miyagi shit with me in his rap shit. Like he like perpetually unimpressed. And then that make me go even harder because like boom, like, all right. First it's like if his validation is an impossible uh achievement, then it's like I'm gonna keep working super hard for it regardless. Or if validation was something that I think what he said with the Wendy's comment is this: if if I was waiting on you to be Mavi the rapper and make X amount or have this amount of listeners, and then I'm just proud of you for life, and you just know like you did it, like what would you do with the rest of your life? Like, and that's the thing. He ain't withholding some emotional um gratification from me. He actually allowed me to choose my own adventure, but not by removing himself as like a,
Yeah,
a judge, you know?
yeah. Like if his approval is the barometer for your success, then once you hit that limit, like then what? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And last but not least, I wanted to get a little bit of advice from him. But this time around, I asked for any words of wisdom that his dad had gave to him.
So I got one more question. I ask all of my guests on my show for a word of advice on somebody's behalf. Sometimes it's my behalf, sometimes it's a friend's behalf or whatever. But since your dad is such a big part of your life and your career and family in general, I was wondering what Mr. Miyagi, what advice has your dad given you that's resonated and stuck with you? It could be about music or about anything. Just a word of advice from your dad.
Oh man.
I'm sure he's giving you a lot. Like, because again, like, yeah.
That nigga is the blueprint, but damn. What's the best one though? That nigga tell me some crazy shit. I'm gonna give you two. He said, you a power rapper and you're not a slave rapper. You own the means of production. Like, you a power rapper. Don't ever get played like no slave rapper. The second thing he said is to say what you're gonna do and then do it is making word flesh. And that's the work of God.
Man, Pops is heavy.
Yeah.
That's
man, what you think me, bro? This nigga, hey, look, this, like, you know how you say my energy is like bright? Like, he step in the room, nigga be like nervous.
like Fury Styles off of Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Literally like her.
Oh man. But yo, Mavi, man, that's it for the day. You know what I'm saying? I want to congratulate you again on all the success, the album, the tour, the house, everything that's coming to you. And I can't wait to check in again, fourth album, fifth album, and see where you're at. You know what I'm saying? 80th album. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. Good talking to you.
Thank you, man. Until the next time.
It was a really cool conversation, and I can't wait to have another one in person because Zoom sucks. I don't like FaceTime. I don't like video chatting. I don't know how Skype lost the Zoom war in the middle of the pandemic. Whatever. That's another conversation. But let me know your favorite Mavi song off of the new album, or just your favorite Mavi song in general. Favorite Mavi moment. If he's coming to your city, sound off in the comments. Let's have a conversation. I'll even dust off my YouTube login and jump in there too. And that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next time on the Almanac of Rap.
Yeah, it's the Almanac of Rap Show. I got opinions and they all factual. No news, just information that you won't be able to use unless you're at a dinner party trying to impress who's in attendance with endless tidbits of nonsense. We're gonna have a good time, I promise. YouTube rabbit holes, Reddit deep dives, pulling out old interviews from the archives. Styles, fads, trends, all of that. It's the Almanac.